hope we don't get locked in here. We'll have to make love to keep warm.
Brennan, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers.
You must be pleased with how Calvary turned out.
I am very pleased, yeah. It started as a discussion about how difficult it must be for somebody caught in this particular situation at the moment. And it ended up with a script that we felt was really exciting, and it's great to see it kind of come to fruition finally.
So at what point did John start talking to you about it? While you were filming The Guard?
Yeah, when we finished in Connemara on The Guard, we had another 2 weeks to do in a different location up on the East Coast, and it was the first time we had a chance just to have a drink and have a chat and stuff like that when we wrapped in Connemara, to have just to let the hair down a little bit. And we were chatting about this, and it came up, and he said, "If I write it, will you do it?" And I said, "Yeah." So that's how it started.
So you knew you wanted to work with John again?
Oh, for sure, yeah. No, that's a no-brainer. He's just he's unbelievable talent, fantastic, and we seem to work pretty well together, which is important. We share enough instinct, and we disagree in enough to make it interesting.
Absolutely, and he's given you this amazing part,
Yeah.
James Lavelle. So much depth to him. The kind of role that actors would really fight for.
I know, I didn't have to though. I love it. Yeah, no, it's good. It's taken a long time, I don't like to repeat performances very, if I can help it. But I've played a lot of guys who are kind of, edgy and on the side of villainy up to a point. And I like to complicate them if I can and find humanity in it. But just to get the notion of somebody who was quintessentially good, it's a dodgy one. You've got to be careful, But it's brought out the Henry Fonda in me somewhere.
Absolutely. This is a darker film than The Guard as well. Was that an intention as you were going in?
Well, the subject matter is like under such...
Yeah.
And it came from a discussion about a difficulty. It came about it must be a quandary for somebody who is essentially given their life to what they imagine is goodness and generosity. And it takes a lot. Like good priests, people with vocations generally, even outside of religion altogether, it's really hard to maintain the faith, for a nurse or for anybody to maintain it when everything's been thrown at you. Somebody in A&E, for example, who's been told, where people are sleeping on trolleys and stools and stuff like that instead of being in beds, and the nurses are getting abuse for that sort of situation. I find fascinating, because how do you maintain that sense of vocation?
Your character he tries to stay chipper enough.
He does. He tries to stay chipper enough, but he gets messed up a bit, and he does take a gun out at one point and start, letting fly a little bit. But it's kind of great because it's human in that way, and it doesn't judge people, which I think is really important. It leaves the judgment up to the audience. Obviously, there's a certain thrust in the story, but a lot of people there are really messed up and not very sympathetic, and yet you feel some sort of an affinity with what they're saying, because a lot of what they're saying is the truth.
Now, the film deals with the Catholic molestation issues, I suppose you should say, that they've had. Was that comfortable for you to work in? Did you have to do some pretty awkward research?
No, I didn't need to do any research. The research is happening every single day in the newspapers, and I went to a Catholic school. I actually taught in a Catholic school. So the issues are very, very, easy. What was different, I guess, was that this man appeared to have an uncomplicated faith to begin with, in the sense that he appeared to be able to handle what was coming at him. He was a late vocation, so he wasn't some naive dude who went in at 17 into a monastery or whatever like that. He was somebody who lived in the world, had a daughter, his own, on a personal level. He'd had tribulations before. His wife had died. His daughter then got upset, as it turns out, possibly due to the fact that he kind of abandoned her to join the priesthood, which is pretty great dilemma even on its own. So there was a complicated situation. It was a really complicated guy coming from a position of pure faith and having that tested.
What's it like working with John? Because he's a big personality.
I think it's easier working with him than it is being a journalist interviewing him. Yeah. No, he's incredibly disciplined in his writing and in his planning and his preparation. He's incredibly cooperative and collaborative on stage. Not cooperative is the wrong word, because he's very sure about what he needs, but collaborative. Has great respect for actors and is not at all in any way difficult to work with, other than if there's a difference of opinion or instinct, you really have to you thrash it out. But no, he's fantastic. Like, he can be irascible, and he tends to be a little confrontational once he gets away from all that. But he's quite different. He's not in any. He's just a joy to work with, to be honest.
And this is his second movie. Such a mature body of work. Second movie. It's incredible.
Yeah, but he's been at it a good while, you know, and he you know, he is very dogged and very persistent, but his standards are very high. So that he's been at it, doing it and honing his skill, and it really shows. You know, his craft is hugely worked on, and he has an ease of it. It's something you meet with the best people. There's a kind of an ease because they know they put in the work, you know. So yeah, it's a joy.
You going to go in for film 3 with him?
Yeah, I think so. He's talking about a very aggressive paraplegic. So yeah. I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. Final question. What do you think audiences can expect when they decide to plumb on Calvary in the cinema?
Well, it all sounds very grim. I mean, I think there's a dark humour to it which alleviates a lot of that. But to me, it's not just about Catholicism, and it's not just about a village in Ireland. It could be in Spain or South America or anywhere, really, if it had been shifted culturally a little bit. But it's about the notion of maintaining faith in the goodness of the human, you know, the human being, I guess. And it's a journey worth taking.
Humanity versus divinity. Thank you
yeah,
very
and
much.
I think it's a tough one, but there's hope at the end, I think.
Yeah, great. Thank you very
Thanks
much for your time. Cheers.
Time is gone, you don't even realise it.
My time will never be gone.
I think there's too much talk about sins, not enough talk about virtues.
What would be your number one?
I think forgiveness has been highly underrated.
Do you not have anything to say to me, Father? Not right now, no. But I'm sure I'll think of something by Sunday week.